What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So the new numbers are in Texas, so we're going to take a look, and we'll pull them up right now. So we are looking at, let's start with the Republicans first. So Vote Hub, that's what we're using here, is showing us 872,006 ballots cast. That's 85%, 85.1% of the 2022 final. Okay, so if we go down here, we'll see early voting is at 837,972, mail-in ballots at 34,034, and that's the total there. And so then we're looking at this time, back in 2022, we were at 604,893. And then the total in 2022 was 1,025,018 ballots cast. And so Republicans are almost there. Now, they do have one more day. That we're talking about early voting here. So we have one more day, and we'll see what the numbers look like tomorrow. Okay, now let's take a look at Democrats. Democrats are over a million. Over a million. So 1,018,125 ballots cast. And that's 162.9% of the 2022 final. So looking at the early voting, 978,227. Looking at the mail-in ballot, 39,898. And that's the total there that we just went over. And so as of this time in 2022, it was 369,241. The final numbers in 2022 was 625,152. And so you see the surge with Democrats is continuing. They've almost doubled their numbers, and we'll have to see what happens tomorrow, but we could see a doubling. So from back in 2022 to now, you see there's been a major shift when it comes to people that are voting on the Democratic ticket. And remember, these are the people who are choosing to vote on the Democratic ticket, okay? So it's not necessarily just Democrats. So now we're looking at a situation in Texas where there's an overwhelming number of people who are voting for Democrats. Now, Tallarico and Crockett could have a lot to do with this because people like Crockett, they like Tallarico, some like both, and so that could be playing a major role. But we are seeing a large number of votes on the Democratic side. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. So let's take a look at why Texas is so important and why people are paying a lot of attention to this primary race in Texas. So if we're looking at Democrats and independents, they're at 47. Republicans are at 53. So Republicans have control of the Senate. Now, in order for Democrats to take back control of the Senate, they need 51 seats. That means they need to net 4 seats. So if we look at the breakdown here, we can see some states that they could possibly go to Democrats. We see some states that Democrats hold right now that they could potentially lose. And so Democrats basically need to hold all the seats that they have now and net those 4 seats. So let's take a closer look at some of these states. And so first, let's focus on the seats that Democrats need to hold. They need to hold Georgia. They need to hold New Hampshire. And they need to hold Michigan. So these are the 3 states they need to hold right now. Looking at the latest polling, they do have an advantage. So Democrats have an advantage. And so let's see if that continues into the general election. But Democrats need to hold those 3 seats. Now, when it comes to seats they need to gain, we're looking at North Carolina. You have Roy Cooper, who's doing pretty good in North Carolina, and there's a possibility that Democrats can flip North Carolina. When it comes to Maine, you have Plattner, you have Mills. They're both doing well. Now, they'll be running in a primary against each other, and they're both doing well in the latest polling. And Collins, she's struggling right now. And so if the Democrat can beat Senator Collins, then that would be a seat that they could gain. Now, another opportunity that Democrats have is in Alaska. You have Peltola. She's running against Sullivan. And just 2 months ago, we weren't even talking about this race, but now that Peltola came in, she came in January. Now, looking at the latest polling, she's ahead. And so she could potentially win in Alaska. So that could be another seat that Democrats can win. And so now looking at the vote count, Democrats and independents at 50, Republicans at 50. Now, of course, remember, when it comes to a tie, the tie goes to the vice president. The vice president's a Republican. And so that means that Republicans would maintain control of the Senate. And so now we're down to one more state. And that is why Texas is so important. And that is why people are paying a lot of attention to the fact that Democrats are surging in Texas when it comes to the early voting in the primary. Because if Democrats could flip, if they could find a way to flip Texas, now we're looking at Democrats and independents at 51, Republicans at 49, Democrats take back control of the Senate. Now, we're not just talking about Texas here, because if Democrats can net those 3 seats that I just talked about there and then win one more seat, Democrats have possibilities in Ohio. They also have a possibility in Iowa. You have an independent in Nebraska that could potentially win. So Democrats have different opportunities to win. It's not just Texas. But now that we're seeing the early voting in Texas, we could see something happen in Texas. We could potentially see that flip. And so this just opens up the opportunities for Democrats. And that's why you hear a lot of people talking about Texas. That is the main reason. And so I want to know what you guys think about all this. What do you think about the early vote count? What do you think about Democrats flipping Texas? And also, what do you think about Democrats? What do you think the chances are for Democrats to take back control of the Senate? Let me know that in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.